I am sorry for deleting the 2-week-old recording of your episode, which Mike never downloaded. So that's the thing. That's the easy thing. Is it's a pass fail. Have you seen it or have you not seen it? Right. So it's an easy pass.
Is it?
It's gonna be a big fail. What'd you say? German,
Austrian.
Oh, man, for whatever reason, when you said that, I thought you said German Auschwitz. I was like, okay.
Good evening. Welcome to the Showboys podcast. I'm Pixel Nick, your host for the evening, accompanied by our lovely, aggressively mediocre dad, producer. Dad, there we go. I got that right the second time. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know, man. There's just something about after watching that show, I'm just filled with anxiety right now. Like someone
I would be too.
is like, you know, I'm good though.
Are you okay?
I think so.
You didn't make any deals with like the devil or anything, and there's no ominous like death approaching you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's hard to tell.
Well, it's not that hard to tell from as an observer, but maybe you are in denial.
It's freaking me out, man.
I'm
twerking on this end.
I'm a little nervous, I must say.
Joining us tonight, one of our illustrious stream team members,
yes,
Ugly Kid Joe Cross. Welcome.
What is
wearing
up, my
his
friend?
Showboy swag.
Yes,
Very
yes.
that's right.
Very
You look great.
I was a little worried about the white hoodie because I usually have this curse where when I get something nice and white, it ends up stained.
Yeah, it
Right.
doesn't work.
Been very good so far.
That's good. Just don't eat on stream and only wear it on stream, and you'll be good.
That's about what happens.
Yeah.
No, I wore it to Louisville, and because I was trying to, support the podcast in different states.
Yeah.
And didn't spill anything on it. So very exciting.
That's good.
That's
That's
really good.
Glad you could make it, Dad. Glad you could make it. Happy to be here. I think it's been 2 weeks since I've been on. I think people were talking about, whoa, Dad just fell out of his chair. Hopefully he's okay.
We knew it was happening.
Oh dear. But yeah, thank you for joining tonight. Tonight we will be talking about the fall of the House of Usher, the latest Mike Flanagan series on Netflix. Joe binged it in like 2 days.
Yes, I did.
Just finished it today, and Dad chipped away at it. So we're excited to talk about it. Getting our one and only Spooktober episode in this year, which is fine, right? Because we hit it hard the past 2 Spooktobers. So give the Spooktober a break. Life's been busy as well, so sometimes you got to take a breather, and there's plenty of things out there for people to watch, so we don't need to be here all the time, right?
There's too many scary things in the world as is. I spook very easily, so the less the better for me.
The world is scary, so therefore
Very
no need
scary.
to add more stuff to it.
I agree.
You okay? You disappeared and like fell.
I'm okay. Yeah, I jumped. That's probably what you heard.
Yeah.
I didn't fall out of my chair.
Oh, okay. You jumped toward the ground.
Very aggressively, yes.
Yeah.
Not mediocrely.
I no, that was whole, like with everything. Like I just had the sense, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's nothing there.
there's nothing there.
Nope. Play it back later. Then
All
tell
right.
us what you think.
Okay. I'll let you know.
Yeah. As always, shout out our top tier patrons, Bim and Yusuf H, and our wall of fame in the Hall of Fame. Ugly Joe Cross gets a place there, of course.
Woohoo.
So thank you for being awesome patron members, and sign up for Patreon, right? Get some exclusive content on our Patreon every month. Right now, the boys are doing Tomb Raider. I have fallen off of that because I have to replay my game. Because for the life of me, I cannot get my cloud save from Steam to sync either to my deck or my PC. I even installed on my PC and was like, maybe it'll sync to my PC and I can play it there. Nope, nothing. But if you go to my cloud saves, the file is there. Deep in Reddit, they're in the Steam community. You can download the file and place it in the game load area, which is an option, but it's a lot of steps for me right now.
Oh yeah.
Someday. So do I take time to do that or just replay it? I don't know. Either way, I don't know the Patreon episodes for Laurel.
That is a true pain though.
It really is.
It's never happened. And of course, it happens to me on the one I'm playing for like the podcast.
I remember like a long time ago, I had a Final Fantasy VII save on the PlayStation memory card. It had like 99 hours on it, and my brother erased it for his Madden franchise.
Oh no.
And that was heartbreaking.
Oh, that's heartbreaking for sure.
That's terrible.
That's my most heartbreaking like save file fiasco.
Yeah, that definitely outpaces my Tomb Raider, where it's like not an RPG that's customizable and in depth like Final Fantasy. So that's much more sad. It'd be like losing my Third Age save on the PlayStation 2. Been devastating. Devastating.
Yeah, it sucks not having you on. I mean, Mike and I are having a great time. You know, just staring into each other's eyes. You know, that's what we do.
You know, I let you guys have those moments. You guys don't need me there to break that up. I'm glad our Patreon members get to see your guys' eternal
love,
affection.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's pretty special what we have.
It's making me want to play through it, and I have it. I have all the Tomb Raiders. I had never played through hardly any of them.
This game is so much fun. It's such a blast to play.
Well, I know there's some games that even you haven't played through, and it's
sad,
heartbreaking.
Yeah, very.
Even
sad.
though I keep it to myself that I haven't played through that game either. So
you're at least aware of it. He doesn't even know what the game is.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, no. What I was gonna say something about all of that. Oh, if you want to have a sneak peek at that play along series, you can go check out our episode from last week.
Yeah.
Up on our YouTube, and you can see episode 1 of the Patreon series as a little leader into becoming a patron. But yeah, that's a fun series, fun game too. It's also great on the Steam Deck, great mobile game because it's all just like compact right there in your face. But you guys, I think, play on the PC, so
yep,
it's a nice 2013 pick me up if you want like to play something on the deck.
And I feel
I
like
always like finding games like that.
It's like held up over the years, you know, like
Exactly.
there's some rough spots, but it's not like it doesn't break it for me. You know, I'm still totally into it. Some of the cinematics, dude, so good. So
Built
good.
right into the game. It's great.
Yes.
Well, Joe, what have you been doing lately? What have you been playing over there on the?
Let's see. Just last night, I finished Sea of Stars.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's just like your basic JRPG style game. It's very good. The combat system is very fun and unique, so I like that a lot. The story's great. It's weird, but it's great. The music's really good. It just has all the feels of a feel good old like late 90s RPG, kind of like Final Fantasy style.
Right.
Just really good. Yeah, but I finished it, and then I found out at the very end that there's a secret ending. And my plan was I needed to finish this game before Mario RPG comes out next month. And then I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with my time for the next month. So I'm definitely going to probably try to 100% that, because I don't 100% games. I hardly finish games.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm the same.
I just play a game and then I move on, and then somebody's like, "Oh, how'd you like that ending?" I was like, "Yeah, it was great, it really good." But I've been playing that, and don't know where I'm going stream wise until Mario RPG comes out. I've been playing a lot of Lorcana, which is the new Disney trading card game, and it is super fun. I like it a lot. I was really worried about a Disney trading card game. I thought it was going to be just the Disney IP slapped on some terrible card game, but the gameplay is actually like Magic quality, you know. And I've played Magic for over 20 years, and I've really been enjoying it. But like, there's leagues. I go up to a store every Monday for League if I'm not working. It's just very enjoyable, and that is a great bucket hat.
Dang.
Thank you.
Dang, that just came out of nowhere too. It just like popped on your head.
It's really hurting my head because of the headphones.
Oh, bucket hat gang.
But, yeah, so the Lorcana trading card game is really fun. And then like mobile wise, I've been playing Snap and Survivor.io.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like a cartoony Vampire Survivors.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called, Survivor.io. I don't know. Let's open up the phone and look at it. Yeah, Survivor.io. But it's just like, it's like a cartoony version of Vampire Survivors, but I think it has I don't know, it's more addicting than Vampire Survivors. But it does have an energy system, so you can't play it all the time.
Oh dang.
That's good. And then Marvel Snap. I always love Marvel Snap.
Nice.
That's about it.
It's a nice collection of stuff. But it sounds like you're excited for Mario.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. That game actually made me like the original Mario RPG actually made me shoplift because I was so excited about it. Like I was playing it and I returned it to the video game store. Shout out to Garden Video. And I had a softball game to go to, and there was a guy waiting at the game store to pick it up as I dropped it off. So and he had already started playing it and then was waiting for it to come back so he could finish it. And I had rented it out like way too long to finish it. And then we were talking about it over at the Dairy Mart, and we just kept talking, and I just grabbed my Gatorades for softball and just got in the car and left. I got to the softball field and I was like, I did not pay for these Gatorades. So I went back in after I went to softball, I went back to pay for them, and the guy was like, I didn't know what was happening. He's like, he just walked out with them. I was like, yeah, I did. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I'm hoping they didn't like completely bastardize one of my favorite RPGs of all time.
You can hope. You can hope.
That's the fear with anything that's a remake these days, is that it's not the game. It's just a shell of what it was. So let's hope it's not. It's Nintendo, so it probably can't be too bad.
So part of my ignorance, is that purely a single player game?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yeah, it came out for original or Super Nintendo.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And it's wonderful. And I'm hoping it's every bit as good as the original.
Not trash.
Yeah, I hope it's not trash.
Or mid.
Certain people won't find it trash.
It's either mid or trash, Joe.
Yeah. Hey, I'll bet the main story takes longer than 20 hours though.
Right.
Wow.
So that qualifies it to be at least mid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. Always like to catch up on what you're playing. I can't keep up with what anyone plays. I can barely keep up with what I want to play. But this isn't what's playing. But I did want to catch up on what you've been doing. It's been a while since you've been on the pod.
Oh, it's been a minute.
You being here. Yeah.
I appreciate you having me and wearing the bucket hats in full support.
Oh yes, must support. And you watched this show in 2 days?
Oh yeah, let's see. You guys were talking about the pod on Tuesday. So I watched the first 6 episodes Tuesday. And then I watched the next 2 episodes on Wednesday afternoon.
Nice.
That's crazy because they're not short; they're full hours.
Yeah, they're
Some are
full.
over an hour, aren't they?
I was like, man, I'll
The
get
finale
one.
was for
I'll
sure.
get one more in,
Yeah.
and then I was like, oh my gosh, it's 58 minutes.
Now, were you captivated by it? Like, were you really drawn into it, or were you just kind of sprinting through it?
Well, I had just come off of Midnights, so usually my first night off of Midnights, I can't sleep anyways.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
So it wasn't like I was trying to fall asleep or anything actively. Like I was actively watching it, and like you watch some shows where you're like, all right, I'm gonna go get a drink or use the restroom. You just leave it running. Where
Oh,
I've
no.
learned with these style shows, like these Flanagan shows, you pause it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
You pause it anytime you walk away because you like. And then there's times where you're like, I want to rewind this, but I'm like, no, I'm going to take the full show in its entirety. And so you write down your timestamps and then you rewind back so you can watch that part again because I don't like rewinding in the middle of the show. So like it took me a lot longer than 6 hours to watch the first 6 episodes because I rewind back and I write down timestamps so I don't miss stuff. Or if something was
Right.
confusing to me, I rewind it back and rewatch it. But
Oh yeah.
it was really good. I was a little nervous because like the House on, like anytime I watch one of these, I just compare it to House on Haunted Hill and
Haunted Hill
or
House.
Haunted
Yeah.
Hill House, and man, that show is great.
Oh, that's the best one. I mean,
And so like I watch all these in comparison to that, and this one was the least disappointing in comparison to that.
right.
But
That's a good observation because there's 5 of them now. And granted, let's all know that Dad has not seen any of the other ones. And he needs to go watch them at some point in his life. Maybe you just take the next 5 Halloweens and watch them, or get to it because there's 4 days left in October. You can do it, but there's been Haunted of Hill House. That was the first one. That was the best one. At least best overall, like scary one. You have Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, The Midnight Club, and then this one, Fall of House Usher, for a total of 5. So
yeah, which I have not seen Midnight Club or Midnight Mass. Well, we watched the first episode of Midnight Mass, and my wife didn't enjoy it too much. But Midnight Club, she's like, I've never even heard of this. And we watched the trailer, and she's upstairs watching it right now.
oh, nice. That one we reviewed last year during Spooktober, and we all came into it, Chad, Mike, and I, thinking this is the weakest one, right? Or we have the most.
You
issues
rated
with
all
this
of them.
one. Yeah. And but we focused on that one and we talked about that one the most. But by the time we got to the end of the episode, we were like, wow, I think we like that more than we previously thought, because after you talk about it, we talked through it, and like it kind of was really awesome. So Midnight Club definitely isn't one to sleep on either. But they all have their own like atmosphere about them and their own approach that he takes to telling a different story, because you definitely can't approach these like another Hill House, because Hill House is completely in its own little bucket.
It's hard not to do that too, because the actors are the same.
Oh yeah.
So you do, like, looking at it from the outside, you just look at it and you're like, all right, it's a different story with the same characters, but they're not, they're playing different characters. But if you're looking at it from the outside, it's not chronological, but like I originally thought it was.
Right.
So it reminds me of like how American Horror Story is, like an anthology series. Like,
yeah,
they're like within the same mind of Flanagan, but they're not connected. He's using the same people. And I actually heard that his next project is a movie, and some of these characters or actors and actresses are going to join. And I'm actually looking that up right now.
Yeah, I have heard this is the last series he's doing for Netflix. So I am
Yeah.
interested in figuring out what he's going to do next because I doubt he's done because he's so good at this.
But I think he's moving over to Amazon Studios.
Oh, that's okay. I have Prime. Always will.
Same.
Can't not have Prime. But so, and when you said that your wife had not heard of Midnight Club,
Yeah.
she also, so unlike the Fall of House Usher, people have heard of this because it is an Edgar Allan Poe short story.
Yeah.
Which he has adapted to a TV series, but also he's interwoven a lot of different Edgar Allan Poe writings into this. So it's like kind of an amalgamation of many different Poe works.
Yes.
But like Midnight Club, I'm pretty sure was completely original by him. So there are different ones that he has done where it's like people are familiar with it versus like this one. And I kind of like the fact that he's at least ending this like series anthology of shows with
Like,
one that is super notable by a lot of people.
and I feel like he's had this in his pocket and was just waiting for this to be his last project for series. Because like,
Right.
if this would have come out first, I don't know if I would have liked the Hill House more.
That's a good point.
Because if this came out first, this would have been like his groundbreaking thing, to where like instead Hill House is his groundbreaking thing.
So that'll be interesting for me that you say that, because I'm
This is
basically
true.
doing what you're saying.
You're watching it backwards, so
Yeah.
I would think that you
Tell
might
us.
enjoy this the most.
I mean, this one we got to the end of it, and obviously it's thrilling all the way through and like very captivating, and really it's just good television. Like the polish on it, the attention to detail, everything matters. But also things slip by your eye or ear as you're watching it, and you're like kind of like actively putting this puzzle pieces together. And even if you're not trying, they fall into place for you and very like at the right moments. He takes a lot of care that you realize things with characters, but also outside of characters. Yeah, and they all kind of Hill House. Yeah, I would say this one's the most similar to Hill House, like you said, Joe. So yeah, definitely interested to see which one you like more, Dad.
Yeah.
Now, would I say go ahead and go watch Hill House next? I don't know.
That was the plan.
Okay, I definitely, yeah. In that case, I do recommend it. Just because it's definitely at least the number one, if not runner up to this one. So, and we did rank them last year. I think, were you on the episode when we ranked them?
No, but
Okay.
I think I was behind the scenes.
Okay, yeah. Just go with that order and then add this one in there.
I mean,
This one's
this one's worth a second watch, in my opinion. I mean, I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this one I don't know if watching it through a second time, like with Haunting of Hill House, watching that through the second time is like
crazy.
You just see it all, and it's just like watching it with the blinders open, kind of like if you're watching like Sixth Sense through a second time and you just get it. If you haven't seen Sixth Sense, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it's kind of just watching it and just like being like, oh my gosh, it all makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
And Bly Manor was like that too. Bly Manor is watchable a second time. But I think I watched this after watching the other ones and knowing how much stuff I missed. I think I did watch these more intently than I've watched his previous things.
Well, you knew what to expect coming into it.
Yes.
Yeah, and in terms of like of the five, this one is thematically closest to Hill House, but also Bly Manor, because it creates kind of like the trilogy of like the family / house oriented horror stories. So Bly Manor would also be in there, whereas Midnight Mass and Midnight Club have a different vibe to them altogether in story structure because they're not like family oriented But again, a lot of the same characters, actors, or sorry, not characters, actors, which makes it really fun though too, because some of these actors are just good, like all around.
So good.
And especially the more of these you watch, Dad, the more you'll see that. And particularly, is it Camilla, the white haired
Camille?
daughter? Camille,
Oh,
who has the two assistants?
Yeah.
Yep. She's like one of my favorite actors through all these series, because as well as obviously the Raven, right? The death,
Yeah.
more or less. No spoilers, but spoiler.
Well, I know she
in
was
this.
she was in that Gerald's Game that was also directed by Flanagan.
Yeah.
So like,
Which is funny.
She's been like part of this before Hell House even. Like, and
Yep.
I'd imagine whenever he was working on casting, he's like, I need her.
Is that his wife, or is that a different situation I'm thinking of, and a different?
I think it is, actually. I think that is his wife. I don't know. You're gonna have to Google that one.
Yeah, because well, is it like frick? Who does it?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, that's his wife. Makes more
Okay.
sense now.
huh.
Because same situation with is it Tim Burton, whose wife is in like everything he does?
Yep. Helena.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. That kind of situation. Yeah. So that's why she's been around. And it's funny you say Geralt's Game, because that is, I believe there's a character in this is watching that. And there's two actors from that movie in this show. So that like that's a weird continuation thing that means nothing, but it's funny because it's kind of like a little bit of Inception there, because they're watching a movie that those characters are in.
Yeah.
Huh. Gotta love a good Easter egg, and this show's full of them. Especially if you're like, like Edgar Allan Poe stuff. Like almost every character in this show just pulls a name from either that or something from actually Poe's life.
Right. All their name, like, well, not all their names, but just the ones I picked up on are just adaptations from like other works of his or other characters. So I'm sure that's a theme that kind of like goes throughout all of them, which is really cool. But kind of like the premise of the show, and I was looking at the length. It's like 258 pages, and I think it's not a long read. The short story, specifically The Fall of the House of Usher. Obviously, there's probably like a ton of Poe works that this references, but I kind of want to go read the original that he wrote and just see not how it stacks up or anything, but just to like have that context of how the original was, and like, because clearly he adapted it into a modern setting, right? Because it is 2023 in the show. We have some flashbacks from the story into like the 80s, and huge theme here is bad pharmaceutical companies, right? And like the atrocities that they create, as well as just like other tertiary societal issues. So clearly Poe did not write about that, but it all translates to these concepts. So I think that's always cool to bring like a story that's 200 years old and into a modern setting like this. So I think that's just like super skillful.
Oh yeah,
on Flanagan's part.
Especially all the references, just making them work together seamlessly, like fluid, throughout the show. I think the
Hi boys. Hi Michael.
Hey, what up? So Roderick and Madeline.
Roderick. Yep. The brother and sister. Are they twins?
See, someone said that. I wasn't sure if that was true or not.
toward the end, they really harped on the fact that like they came into this world together and they're going to leave this world together. So I was like, wait, are they twins? I didn't pick up on that originally, but I think they might be. Whereas his kids, not to confuse, because I was getting confused with his children in those flashbacks to where there's the older brother and the younger Tamerlane daughter. Yep. So I think they were twins.
I'm pretty sure that they were twins.
Actually, that makes sense because the CEO knocked up his assistant. He wouldn't have done it twice. So knocked her up, had twins.
Yeah.
And that's Roderick and Madeline.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like so Frederick, they called him Froderick.
Yeah.
Like he was a fraud.
Froderick.
Roderick.
There's a lot of interesting names in this too.
Oh, yeah.
His oldest son's name is Prospero.
Yeah.
Never heard that as a name.
No.
Oh, watch out for the baby names of 2024. Here we go.
And even like Tamerlane. Like Tamerlane is not a common name, but like they just call her Tammy. But then it's like her full name is Tamerlane. Then I'm like, wait, are all Tammys Tamerlanes?
They are now.
They are now, yeah.
They are now. I'm gonna start every Tammy I know and be like, hello, Tamerlane. What?
That name there's definitely from a Poe book.
Yeah, that
makes sense. Or Victorine.
So yeah, I mean, so the fun way to go about this is, I mean, really, spoilers, right? All of them are going to be happening because we're talking about the show,
right?
For people who have finished it. So Roderick is telling the full story of everything that actually happened to the investigator, Augustine, or is it just August?
I think it's Augustine, but I think they call him Augie.
Yeah, August. Augie. It's spelled different. It's Auguste.
August, or it's just August.
August. Yeah, they call him Augie. Yeah.
So yeah, they're in his family home, right? He bought the neighborhood and just let it rot. That was an early like episode 1 note that he made. I like that. It is most literal when you get to see the neighborhood, the cul-de-sac there. Super rich billionaire bought it, just lets it sit.
Typical.
Yeah. And he's haunted by all the deaths around him, his more or less bloodline. Because the punchline is made a deal with the devil, and his bloodline would cease to exist. And it's crazy because the deal is like have it all, and the argument is like live 40 awesome years or live like just another to 70 mediocre if not crappy years,
full of crap.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I guess that's a enticing deal if you're already like morally askew. It doesn't seem too terrible.
But Frederick had 2 little kids. Like I'm
Roderick.
Roderick, yeah. I'm like, this dude, he is.
Yeah, that's what blew me the most is like when he made this deal, he already had kids.
Yeah,
and like his sister, she's like, I ain't got no kids. I'm good.
I ain't planning to have no kids.
Right.
But they're going to have 40, 50 great years, right? And what's another 20 to make it to 70 and not be... It almost makes sense. But that aside, right? So he's telling the story to August, obviously with a promise of a confession, because August has been trying to pin him, get him sent to jail, right? For life for all the crimes that he knows he has done. So it's really kind of like a we know the ending, right?
Part of the deal was that he would never get caught for anything.
Yep.
Right. Free on all accounts. They could do anything they wanted. Everything would be just fine.
So he did.
Got away with murder. Essentially.
And I guess if you're sitting on murder, which was awesome. One, I did not see that coming at all. the murder of the CEO. That was fantastic. I love little things like that where it's like the scraping of the bricks was the noise that they kept hearing, and that's why he was sitting down there. And then just like shortly before there is the like Joker costume, right,
Dude,
in the
That scared
car.
that guy, man. That
When
scared the crap out of me.
I
Oh
did
my
I
goodness.
did jump there, but I'm also like, what does this have to do with anything? But then
Right.
they delivered right away.
Oh,
Shortly
yeah.
after,
When he was in the car there, oh man, that got me.
first it was in the house, then it was in the car,
Yeah.
but then like it was one more time, and then it was at the party finally. And you're like, whoa.
So when he left the church, and this was earlier
This is
after
episode 1.
yeah, they didn't show anything in the car. He just kind of freaked out and fell over.
We were sitting in the car just like we were again in that scene, but what we got in the last episode is the
What
flip.
he saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing
And
that go ahead.
and we see him one other time in the church when he keeps turning around and seeing everyone there.
Mhm.
There's a moment where he the last turn and look he does. I forget which episode it's like 5 or 6. When they're actually finally at like the funeral again, the one shortly before he talks to his wife. He turns, and up on the balcony is the Joker, because it's just a
Okay.
shadow silhouette, but
That's
it has the 4 or 5 thing. I'm like, what is that, a Medusa? I'm like, I don't know what kid that is. I'm like, who is that? And at this point, not all the kids died, so I thought maybe one of them had
Died
something crazy with
terribly
their
like
head.
that.
Yeah. But then I was like, oh, that was the silhouette that they showed us
Mm.
like in episode 4 or 5. And I was like, that's crazy.
It's cool because he revisits the same scene but from a different point of view, and it's just cool because it's like you get that aha, like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like it's just falling in line. All the pieces are slowly coming together, and
Yeah.
oh yeah, it was good.
And not to the, obviously August here is a very patient man and gets to hear the whole tale from the very beginning, starting with the very first death, which was was that Leo, I do believe, the youngest with the orgy.
Yeah,
That Prospero.
Prospero.
Prospero was the last one. Or no, yeah, Prospero was the first one. You're right.
Who did you say?
There's a Leo in there somewhere.
He was the druggie, wasn't he?
Oh, he was the last one. I literally have those backwards. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it starts with the first one, Prospero, and this is the first
I think
episode.
they call him Perry.
Yes.
Throughout the thing, but
the druggie that kept seeing the cat.
Oh, okay, that one was Leo.
I think so.
Okay. That makes sense. Frederick. Okay, Frederick is the oldest son. Yeah, Frederick of Roderick, son of Frederick, son of Roderick. So
it's a whole lot of Ricks.
The first episode, the first tale that we really kind of get, and this is before, I guess we all really know the theme of the series. I think the the synopsis of the show is that we witness the death of this family all around each other, right? Yeah. But I don't think you don't know exactly how this unfolds for you, but we 1 or 2 episodes in, you're like, every episode we get to see the demise of another family member.
And you find out within the first few minutes of even watching it that, hey, just so you know, everybody dies.
Everyone dies.
Like they show the obituaries, the news articles and stuff, and you're like, holy cow.
Yeah, they got right to it.
Yeah.
This is what's going on.
And then they're going through the trial and everything for their company, but they're
all there.
They don't even care about that. And you don't really learn until the end that they didn't care about it because they knew they weren't going to get caught for it, because they never get caught for anything. So I was always like, man, they're not worried about nothing.
No,
And
they're,
now,
they're
like, I
untouchable.
guess watching it through there, like if you watch it through again, you'll completely realize, like, well, they don't care because they know they're not going to get in trouble.
Right.
Plus, they also kind of know that they're probably going to die.
They don't. He does.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Him and Madeline like completely forget about that apparition that they had. More or less, like they completely just pretend that never happened and let it just go away.
Yeah, and like she remembers it first, but then I think he's just kind of in denial about it. Like,
yeah,
absolutely. Well, I think that because they promised each other that they wouldn't talk about it ever again.
Yeah,
and I think apart from them turning, like after they talk to the bartender, they go out of the building, they go out of the bar, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this," but then they turn around and it's all like run down, shut down, like it wasn't even open.
And
but I don't think they like processed it.
No, but it's great that we got to see exactly what Arthur saw in like episode 3 when he tried to find the bar and he was like, nothing's there.
Yeah, there's no
and
bar.
They
like
knew that
5-mile walk or something.
Yeah. And the greatest add to this series is obviously Mark Hamill.
Dude.
Our boy Arthur here. Dude. Like I saw him in his old decrepit state and I'm like, oh my God. That's Mark Hamill under that hat and glasses.
Dude, I have
disguise. I think they were like, Mark, just play the role as if pretend no one's gonna recognize you in this series. That's who you're gonna play.
And I told Nick before we started, I said, listen, this might just be a couple hours about me gushing about Mark Hamill. Because it was just, oh man, he's the perfect person for that role.
He was amazing, and even more amazing once I found out it was him. Because I didn't realize it was him at all.
It's tricky if you're not paying attention, if you're not expecting it either.
Yeah, the hat
covers it all up. Is it a bucket hat? Was that what it was?
Yes.
Yes.
No, his character was great.
Oh yeah,
great character. And I feel like this is the most Mark Hamill live action thing anyone has had since Star Wars.
Probably.
Like screen time. Like I need the numbers ran. He gets a good amount of it. Like they're not shy about it. He's an important player.
Yeah, he's essentially their fixer or whatever they call it.
Yeah, at that point he's more than like the lawyer. Like from the outside he's just the lawyer, but like he isn't just the lawyer. He's the hitter.
He's like the glue
guy for for everything.
The cleanup guy. Yeah.
So, I originally thought at the beginning of this that he was in cahoots with, oh man, now I can't remember her name. Oh my goodness.
Madeline?
No,
Verna?
Verna. I thought he was a Verna plant, and when she said you'll never get caught for anything, I thought he was the reason why.
Right.
Hmm.
Oh, that really kind of that makes him seem less good at his job.
I was just about to say that.
Right?
But no, because she even told him that she was impressed with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought she sent him. I'm like, oh great, he's not a real person.
Right. I mean, he's got more of a backstory than like most new characters that come out in the past 10 years ever.
They gave him a huge backstory that like to me had no real payoff aside from a bunch of like mind-racking questions in my head.
Yeah. Well, like
we need a spin-off
of just him
story
of the trip that he took.
See, now I would watch the crap out of that.
Mike Flanagan needs to make a movie about that expedition.
Especially the part where he sees her.
Yeah, and that's like, well, he says, we went up there, and whenever Roderick's talking to Augie, he's like, yeah, he told us that he went up there and found a land that's out of time and space.
Right.
And then whenever Verna's talking to them about the bar, and she's like, yeah, we made a deal that was out of time and space.
Yep.
I'm like, is she really like death or a demon, or was she one of these underground people that came up to see him? So like, I need answers. So we're gonna send some emails to Mr. Flanagan.
I mean, that setting, right? That expedition, a movie about that would be one cool for a period piece, also on like a real event in history. Good pickup, but also reminds me of like the Terror.
Yes, I was just
that was
thinking
on
that.
something like that, where it's like this expedition historical thing that happened, but make it a horror series, right? And just CGI de-age Mark Hamill, make him play the same character, and call it a day.
That had our boy in it, Jared Harris.
Sure did. Can't miss it.
I thought it was well, I mean, he's pretty old, but Arthur turned down her deal.
Wise man.
I mean, he had nothing.
No need to pick that deal
up.
No.
That character was kind of one of those people who they know when they're ahead, and they don't push when they're behind. And like when he thought he had her, and then she just reappeared. He didn't even like flinch about it. He's like, "Well, you got me."
He even like apologized or something like that. Or
Yeah,
like when he went to go sit down, it was very just like, my bad.
Yeah.
Forgive me. Sorry, Miss
Yeah,
Devil.
and like he had no idea that he was dealing with like supernatural, but like, so he's been through some stuff, because when he figured that out, he's just like, yeah, sorry, I apologize for trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And because of his his backstory, it's on brand, because like he's finally come back to that point in his life. He's like, oh, I've seen some shit like this before. I'm just gonna sit down and wait for my jail time. Fine with me, because like you said, he basically has known, he's been ahead his whole life. So, and he's an old man. He's older than all of them. So
yeah,
he'll spend another like 10, 20 years. He's fine going to jail. He's had a good time. Except being that person for like a group of people like this, is that enjoyable? Like, what do you do do you get free time to enjoy that supremacy, or you just live your life in that role, and that's it?
I would say like he's just always on call, so he's just like always waiting.
But when he's not, what is he doing? Is he just like chilling, playing video games, or is he like writing a book?
He's probably practicing his lightsaber moves.
Watching Mandalorian. It is set in 2023.
But the weird part is he spent like his entire life doing all that stuff and really didn't have to, because they were never going to get caught anyways. So he probably thought he was doing like a really good job.
I do such a good job. Nah. You're really good at your job because you just are. You get to be, because it always works out.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I do want to talk about each of the deaths, because I always enjoy looking at the, when the episode starts, it tells you all the things that are in the episode, like nudity, language, sex, gore,
suicide.
This one had it all.
Yeah, there's obviously a couple that were like suicide, and like a couple other like odd ones that you don't see all the time. So those are always fun, because you're like, okay, this one's gonna be extra special. And
extra special.
And I think gory, gruesome and gory are like the main taglines for the series on Netflix in the preview. And I was kind of wondering, like, like typically Mike Flanagan's shows aren't, I guess, quote unquote, gory, right? They're not like gruesome and gory. More, usually they're more kind of like jump scare, in your head horror. This one, though, definitely leans right into the like gruesome.
Yes.
And it was a nice change of pace.
Dude.
Unfortunate for all of them. But the first episode A lot of people died. A very horrible death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. We're all quiet because we're thinking about how many people died. Now, and it's really weird that like I did when you said that a lot. I never really came to the fact that a lot of people died, and it's weird because a lot of people that died were not part of this family.
No.
Right.
They're also very high profile people too. I was also thinking about that. Because they have that moment where it's basically like more or less like people pointing out like the Kardashian or the Paris Hilton or like whatever. Like that's what they're doing on the cameras. Like there were high profile people there. And like these people just got melted.
It seemed to me like Prospero was going to sell those. Like he wanted that as blackmail on all these people.
Yep.
Hmm.
And well, a lot of it, like I guess one thing we should mention is like, oh, you've probably seen the series if you're watching the show, but one of the perks of being one of his children is that you're brought into his house and your family. And out of all of these 6 children, only 2 of them are original ushers. Everyone else is from Roderick's foregoings out into the world and having kids, and then they're brought in, made family. And so one of the things is they're pretty much all sponsored a bunch of money for one project. And Prospero's project is he wanted to start like a club, like a big orgy club, pretty much.
Yeah, it's kind of like this idea of these exclusive like elite 1%er like party clubs that you like subscribe to, and almost also like the Prince idea where like you never know when the party is, where it's going to be, but you'll be on the list, you'll get the invite, and you show up. Like the most exclusive of the exclusive.
That was episode 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, episode 1 kind of sets everything up because episode 1 ends with him like fainting in front of the church, which we don't get back to until the last episode.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because they set all because they used the first episode to set up everyone dies. We're at these funeral services.
Episode 1, Roderick and his sister? I can't remember her name.
Madeline.
Their mother.
Oh, dude.
Dies, and they bury her, and then she comes back to life and pretty much just walks down the street and kills their father.
Murders. What's the point of having a gate on your like house if like it's not locked? She just pushes the gate open.
I think she supernaturally opened it, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she was buried.
She
was dead.
But was she? Did they ever explain that? Like,
No.
I assumed like she just was not legit dead, came out of it, and like live person just like it wasn't supernatural.
See, I don't know. I feel like that had to be a Verna setup just to get them on the path to her. I don't know.
That makes sense. That makes sense because there's nothing else that explains it. Because she was dead. And then like as soon as
she killed him, she died.
Yeah.
Right.
Like she did what she had to do to set that ball into motion.
Yeah.
Their mother was Verna.
That was crazy.
So they were pretty much born to lose in this situation, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Verna, she's even said that she's gone after, very rich people. She targets
them.
And she tells Roderick that he's like on the top 5 of the most people that have suffered.
Body count.
Because yeah. Well, and that
suffering.
That scene was intense when he goes back to his office and like he's kind of having that conversation with all the kids at like the conference room, and then she's there, and then he turns around after she explains that all the people, like she's counting how many have died, and then you just see the bodies falling.
In the rain.
That was that imagery was really something.
Yeah, and she's interesting. Like she doesn't, she definitely isn't like a the boatman or like a Hades type thing that like requires souls. Because she seems like she feels bad like for the youngest daughter, the granddaughter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she
Oh,
she
man.
really was proud of the fact that her
She-
actions go on to actually save millions of
Yeah.
people, and she's kind of resentful to Roderick that he
Yeah,
has killed that many people.
She's like, I love my job, but I don't like this.
Yeah, she
Right.
said like this is my least favorite thing, or whatever she says, because and she like obviously outside of time, so she sees it all. But yeah, you could definitely see it in her face that she had no pleasure in that at all, because you know her grandparents were faced with this crazy decision, knowing that they would do this, and this, or whatever, and one of the offsprings would actually do good in spite of a really messed up family.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely isn't just like pure evil in the sense that she just wants to rack up like death. She like really sticks it to people who have it, who deserve it, because she really drives it home when she is talking to Frederick, when she's like, you could have just like died, but like you had to grab those pliers. Like you
Yeah.
really deserve what you're about to get, and I'm really gonna enjoy this. So, she isn't like a malevolent being. She's more so just a broker of
She can
fate.
be. She can be.
She can
But-
be, but not by their own design.
Right.
Like everything that happened, like she explains, like
You had this coming.
she's just like it's not her out here just causing these things to happen. Like,
Well, I know through the first couple deaths, it's like there's the supernatural element to it, but like they put it in the very beginning where Augie in the courtroom is like, we have an informant among you.
mhm.
So they're all at each other's throats, and he says, tells the kids, okay, whoever tells me who the informant is, I'm going to give them like, was it $50 million or something like that?
Yeah.
So like
Basically another like starter package, because I think that's like what they get.
Yeah, and so I was like, I know they're throwing the supernatural element in there, but like I was like, is there somebody doing this?
Right.
Because like the first death with Prospero, it's plausible and it's explained, and there's really no supernatural to it,
Right.
except for like the people who work there leaving before it happens.
Yeah, being warned, or just
Yeah.
Her mask was awesome, but that was something that she stopped doing. But she did do a couple times where she was like, it can all not happen. Like this can all be avoided. And he's just like, what are you talking about? And like, because he doesn't obviously pick up what she's laying down, but in the bedroom, she's like, you have a choice. You could right now stop it all from happening. He's like, what? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he could have, stopped his party, his rave, but it had to continue on.
Yeah, and I think she knew that he would have made that choice anyway.
Yeah, for sure. But that like plays into the idea that like everyone has the opportunity to like not go down that path.
Yeah, because some of the dialogue, even in the future episodes with the other ones before they die, like they're given it. She says, if you stop right now, just calm down right now.
Yeah, with Tamerlane.
Yep. Tells her, if she's standing there, and if you just calm down right now, and then she doesn't calm down, and then
Dude, that was so intense, man. And of course it had to happen in slow motion.
Oh my gosh.
The glass.
Yeah.
But I like how they kind of teased it with Roderick when he was talking to Augie.
Oh yeah.
So like
they all got teased more or less.
Yeah, they all did. But then she came in stepping on glass after the glass shattered behind him. I'm like, oh man, This is just really cool, like storytelling, man. It's really awesome.
Yeah, because Prospero, like, he's the first one we've seen. He's just like, no, no skin, right? But like, you don't put that together. Like, you just have no way of knowing it until it's like,
Until it
holy
happens.
crap! Like, there was something where it was like, okay, clearly we're focusing on they're about to, like, make it rain. I was like, yeah, that's not good. Everything's gonna melt.
That part got ruined for me. Like, I knew it was coming, so that kind of sucked.
Aw, who ruined that for you?
Someone at work.
What
Oh.
a bunch of jerks.
See, I thought it was going to be some sort of electricity thing. That's what I was figuring.
Yeah.
Yeah, something was just like, oh yeah, the vats on the roof. Definitely probably not just water. Let's not just assume those are water, bro.
Well, I thought it was weird because when earlier the faucet dripped on his phone, and like his phone wasn't destroyed or anything.
That was before they tapped into the pipes.
Yeah.
Because they were just sweating empty water pipes from the city. Then he was like, because he told the guy, he's like, it just dripped on my phone. They're working. He's like, no, they're not. It's just sweating.
Right.
That's where he's like, okay, we'll just tie those things into here. Not at all a question what's in them.
But who puts acid in those?
Sketchy pharmaceutical companies and his
Trying
ding
to
dong
hide
brother who's trying to supposed to knock down this building and smuggle out the.
That's what he said. He said we were going to knock down this building, and while we were knocking down the building, sneak this stuff out because we didn't have permits for it because it's illegal for us to have it.
Yeah.
So I guess if you haven't seen the show, the first death is, to me, the most gruesome. I think that was the most gruesome death.
Well, because it's like,
yeah, Confessions is the best
so
part
many.
of Usher. That's right.
Hey, yeah.
Just when I thought I said all I can say, my chick on the side said she got one on the way. Wait, that's Confessions Part 2. Sorry.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, we're talking about Usher albums and how they've all fallen off.
Yeah, the fall of Usher. That fall of Usher is a completely different podcast.
I am not prepared for that.
Oh, we should have done that. We should have just spent the entire podcast talking about Usher.
Usher.
Yeah.
All right. So
that's how Prospero dies. But it's crazy because she's wearing that awesome mask and just like lurking around, which is great. Love her like blue. Is it blue, right? Or is it white? And there's like some, I think it's like blue, but that blue skull mask. Very Mardi Gras, very cool. And she's just like floating around. I love that she can be seen on camera. She's very apparently there, right? Because Arthur's tracking her through all these events, and like she doesn't try to hide her presence.
She's there, but then in some ways she's not there. Like she had tapped that the one woman on the shoulder and told her to leave. He's like, yeah, and she didn't, obviously.
Frederick's wife, like, holy crap.
Yeah,
like,
Frederick's wife, who he invited, and he's like, hey, I remember you used to be crazy. Why don't you let yourself go a little bit? So
the sole survivor too.
Yeah.
So she sneaks out and attends this party. And I think she only survived because it set up for the future of she wasn't supposed to die there. She tried to get her to leave.
Yeah.
The saddest feature.
Yeah, that was
probably the worst part of the show. Is Frederick pulling her teeth out.
Yeah.
We never did find did he ever find the wedding ring though?
No.
He was too busy.
He just went in there to piss.
Chopped.
Yeah,
just slowly sliced in the gut.
I feel like the saddest death was Annabelle Lee. And you didn't even know it until the end when she's at the church.
Yeah.
How's she?
Because they're talking, and then she goes to walk up towards the front, and there's a bullet hole in her head. Because he totally ruined her. Like,
oh yeah,
she
leaves.
Killed herself. Yeah, she left because he was spiraling out of control. Not the same person that he was, and then he comes and basically buys all of them, gives them all this money. And she's like, how do I compete with that? I can't compete with that. And then they all change, and she's alone. That's heartbreaking, devastating. She has actually something.
Lenore was a pretty sad death too.
At least it was
The granddaughter.
painless and
That was
quick and full of.
That was a mercy kill. That wasn't like
Yeah.
brutal and.
Yeah, she's like, oh, she went in there and she's like talking to her, and then says, "I don't know why nobody understands what I mean when I say bloodline." And I'm like, oh no.
As soon as I saw her, I'm like, oh no, this is not going to end well.
And they did a very good job of throughout the entire series till the end. Like, you don't know really who's going to die
Until that episode.
They kind of foreshadow a lot of stuff, and like you don't know who the main character of the episode is for like maybe like the first half of it even, because there's so many things in place there and going around.
Yeah, because they're setting up multiple deaths all the time, but then like halfway through we kind of focus in on who's gonna die. I thought like Victoria was gonna die in the episode that Camille ended up dying in, right? Because it was like murder at the View or whatever, and then when she pulls up, Camille pulls up, it's the View. But yeah, the chimpanzee. Now that was freaky. That was freaky
crazy
because Verna like just floats up onto the table like monkey style, and my wife's like, "Is she a monkey?" I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't think she's literally a monkey, but
then it is the monkey.
You're not wrong. Yeah, that was scary.
Did they actually show
Joe Rogan would
that
cry
death
that episode?
Because
in like the shadows, they don't really.
Yeah,
they show the aftermath of it.
Yes, but they didn't like. I think she was the only one that they didn't, other than Annabelle Lee.
No, they didn't show the death. They just showed her like lift the camera up to take a picture of Verna, and it was a gorilla or a monkey. I don't know. I'm not. Please, I do not know.
Chimpanzee.
I do not know. I can't tell you the difference between alligators and crocodiles. I can't tell you the difference between an emu and an ostrich. I can't tell you the difference between a gorilla and a chimpanzee. Don't at me.
This is definitely a chimpanzee.
Okay.
Chimpanzee.
I thought that that Victorine was going to die in that episode just because it had so much about the monkeys.
Yeah.
But the one thing is, you can see when the next episode starts, you can see the episode title.
Yep.
So when I saw the episode named Telltale Heart, I'm like, all right, this is the one she's going in.
Has to be.
Yeah.
And it was. Well, right. And that's the thing is like Victorine's was kind of like a really slow buildup that played into a couple different things. Like going. Because obviously Camille got caught up in that.
Mm-hmm.
But then we took like a sidetrack and we went to the Leo thing, which was kind of like often on its own little thing because he's just like the gamer guy who just lost his mind over the cat.
That was crazy.
That was a slow downfall to that guy.
Literally. Well, it was a quick downfall to the street.
Yeah. We never heard from his boyfriend again. After Arthur told him this is all you got to say. Don't talk about it.
Yeah, I liked whenever he finally died, like the cat walked by.
Yeah,
it was the cat. Yeah, with the Gucci collar. I was like, what?
Yeah,
the cat itself.
So the cat was never dead.
A fun tidbit.
It's head.
Yeah, he never murdered it. That was all crazy, and that's like the first time too, where it's like very apparent that Verna's using like straight up like making them hallucinate. Like so much of what they see isn't real.
Yeah.
Because obviously like Prospero, all of that, like you guys said, like completely plausible. She had nothing really to do with any of that, other than like some slight tweaking of what was happening. That was all Prospero. He was like, hook those things up and let's have a party.
Yeah, even if there was no deal made, he probably would have died right there.
Probably would have died. Absolutely. Who's next? Oh, Victorine. We didn't talk about Victorine.
Yeah. So yeah, Leo. I like it was Thor's hammer though. He was just smashing his apartment apart with. That must have been a very nice replica of Thor's hammer because it was just a demo hammer.
He even said as he was walking over the wall, he's like, "I'm just gonna have Hemsworth send me another one if I destroy it."
Great things.
And a lot of his, he just thought it was because he was on drugs a lot. Like he's like, I need to stop these drugs.
Right.
So he didn't even think there was anything supernatural at all. He just thought that he was high the whole time.
Yeah, really high. The dead animals everywhere, like all that being fake.
Yeah, in the tub.
Yeah.
Because it like the camera comes over and looks in the tub and it's empty.
I like that they went out of their way to show us that. They didn't have to.
No, they didn't.
But they definitely would have been like all in his head.
They could have just showed the cat at the end when he was on the sidewalk. I do want to say one thing about Victorine's story, the death. It wasn't so much her death, it was her girlfriend's death.
Good Lord.
Or that was because she kept hearing it. And that whole buildup, and like when Roderick comes to the house and the music is super loud, she's like, I can't turn it down. I can't. And then she turns it down. She's like, do you hear that? And Roderick's like, yeah, I do hear that. Because at this point, we've been like seeing that a lot of the stuff is in their head. Like there's a whole lot of mind games being played. But then once Roderick says yes, he can hear it and then he can smell something. Oh no. So they go into the bedroom. Oh, that was probably one of the craziest deaths, and not even of one of the kids for me. Like and because they show her cut her open.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, I forgot about that. And I was like, oh my gosh.
And she's like she is literally insane, lost her mind. Like, yeah, it works. See? And like, she's like thinking that she's having a conversation with her. Oh my gosh.
We've all killed loved ones. All right.
Yeah.
But then I thought she was going to attack him to put it up to.
Well, because she had the.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it sounds like that because it's not the heart it's not alive. It's just pumping empty blood sac. Brutal.
Messed up.
Brutal.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, but her death wasn't as bad.
No, yeah, she just kind of like killed herself. But she must have really sliced herself open because like her dead self, right, has that huge gash.
Huge, yeah.
So she probably, I think she like stuck it in there and then like brought it up as if she was opening her chest up to do surgery. Blah, blah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Cool little device. I don't know how is it like. Is it like battery operated? Like, how do you change the batteries in that thing? Is it like, and like human body energy pump, like Matrix? How does that thing power itself? That's my question.
Maybe
the wire that comes out of your ear, and just like plug into a USB and it charges.
Yes,
that's a great idea, actually.
Or like a little hole in your chest that's just like plug in. Iron Man.
How do
that's
how do pacemakers work?
I don't know.
I imagine it'd be
similar. Are they on a battery?
I do not know.
They have to be.
Okay, one of those
little wire
magnetic chargers that you use for
wireless charger.
Just stick it to your chest.
Let's go lay on my wireless charger.
Full disclosure, we are not doctors.
I need a fast charger for mine. This is not a fast charger.
This is that fast charging.
But the her name, the actress, what's it? Tania Miller.
Yes,
I love her in all of these.
Yes,
so
she's great.
She's in The Peripheral.
Yes,
and
I love her in that too.
I thought she was okay in that, but her performance in this show was amazing. I really enjoyed her in this.
Her performance in all of the Flanagan series
Yeah.
she's in
Yeah.
is always great. Yeah.
Cool.
She's always a focal point of the scene. She does a really good job. But they all do. But
well, especially I really like her in Bly Manor.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she's really good. Well,
what's Mike talking about?
Mike, we've got some
already
bad news for you.
We already
when
discussed
the battery
this.
dies, you move to Florida.
Aw.
When the battery dies, well, we talked about the steps to preventing that. You stick yourself to a fast charging magnetic thing.
Yeah.
And then you're good.
I had to Google it now. Pacemaker battery lasts 5 to 15 years. When the battery stops working, you need to have surgery to replace it.
Not worth.
Rude.
Yeah,
That's all the time.
It's not a USB thing.
Huh. Not bad.
That sounds terrible.
It'd be like a Tesla.
How do you know when the battery goes dead? Does it
charging
start beeping?
station?
Oh man, when the battery goes dead, it starts beeping like a smoke detector in your chest.
Beep, beep, beep.
Oh gosh.
Well, Grandpa's beeping again. Gotta go
This is
charge
why we
him.
don't have nice things.
Gotta plug him in.
Oh.
Crap! Where's the Tesla charging station at?
At least it don't vibrate.
Um.
That'd be
Yeah.
terrible.
So yeah, the whole heart thing, and that was also kind of like a layered story too, because Roderick wanted that to work because it would help him in his situation,
Right.
to not die. And I'll see. This is something I was thinking about when they made that deal with Verna. Is that maybe not Roderick so much, but definitely Madeline. Like her goal was to not die. Like she wanted to be immortal somehow. And that was also leads into their fascination with, like, Roderick's fascination with Egypt and ancient Egypt culture. And I love that he has that like freaking sickle sword.
Yeah.
Just rocking that thing. And
He was like trying to impale himself with it.
Yeah.
kind of contemplate
against
like
the wall.
suicide. But like, yeah, so when they made the deal, part of me thinks that like at least Madeline, if not like osmosis through her to Roderick, was like, sure, we'll just figure out how to live forever. So like dying won't really be a problem for us, and this deal is not that bad.
See, and I'm wondering if that's why Madeline never had children.
No, she didn't want to. She was all against that, I think, from the get go. You know, this is definitely probably why she never did again. Like, eventually changed her mind.
Yeah, she seemed a lot of business. Well, I think that would involve a man, and she didn't seem to like she wanted any man in her life.
Nope.
She didn't want to have to.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I respect it.
She was not about it.
Not about
But
it.
yeah, she didn't have to worry about it. So she's like, yeah, nieces and nephews, fuck them. Roderick, sucks to suck. But he said deal first. She looked at him like, you sure? He was oddly on board. He really liked his sister. Fuck his wife. He was like, forget about her.
Yeah.
Got goody two shoes.
Yeah, that was.
Oh yeah, that court
hard to
scene where
watch.
he flipped, man. That
Yeah,
I did not see that coming.
I didn't either. I'm like, wait, what is he doing?
There was a lot of stuff I certainly did not see coming.
Well, I was like,
That's good. That's good.
Wondering and hoping to see like the rift that had happened between Roderick and August. So that when that happened, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. No wonder.
Because we knew that he lost his job and he lost like everything. So it's like, what does he end up doing? I forget at what point. I think it was like a couple scenes prior that they started alluding to the fact that that wasn't going to go the way August thought it was going to go. But yeah, they play that one pretty close too.
Yeah.
Next death. Tamerlane. Old Goldbug. Is that what I was like, that is the worst brand name for like a high quality fitness brand.
Very weird.
Very
It
weird.
had a nice little box with a little bug on it.
Full of
It had
bugs.
a nice little box. But I thought like her whole situation was bizarre, but also very intriguing. Like her thing with her husband, her conversation with her husband was brutal.
Oh, yeah.
How but also I like that she kept falling asleep and things had just she woke right now. That speaks to me as like a parent of like a 3-4 week old right now,
Yeah,
because like
right.
I'll be like feeding in the middle of the night the baby, and then I'll just like fall asleep, and then like an hour later I'm like, oh crap. I was giving the baby a bottle, and an hour has passed and we're only halfway through the bottle. We all fell asleep.
But I mean, like, this whole story here with her is messed up too, because she's married to him.
Yep.
But enjoys having women over to sleep with him.
Or just have dinner, really.
Yeah. But she's like she's always just watching him live his life.
It's very,
she likes
very
it.
weird.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a weird one. They're all weird ones, but she's a weird one.
And then when Verna comes to step in for the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then like everything just kind of unravels from there. The craziest part was when she was giving that speech at that launch for the gold bug. And she keeps seeing her. And she's like, why are you here? What are you doing here? And it shows Roderick's wife. And she's like, I'm here to support you.
She throws that microphone stand and cracks her.
She gets hit with the bottom of the microphone stand, like the head, just like nails her.
Well, before that, she's like smashing all the monitors because it's showing a sex tape.
Yeah,
no one else sees.
Poor Juno.
Yeah, poor Juno. She had it pretty bad. However, she had it really good because she got off the medicine.
Yeah, she inherited it all.
She wiped her hands clean of the company because she didn't want to deal with it, right? But yeah, Tamerlane was a mess. And then what you were saying earlier, Verna was trying to tell her to calm down and just rest, calm down, as she was smashing all the mirrors, like so many mirrors in the house. That scene was pretty brutal.
Yeah, she tells her, she's like, calm down, and then she smashes that mirror above the bed.
Well, she sees Verna.
Yeah,
as her.
And when she oh man, when she's falling backwards onto that bed and like the pieces of glass that are already on the bed are pointing up, I'm like, oh man. And then when she finally hits the bed, I was like, oh, that's a water bed. And it didn't help.
No.
Yeah, and I was trying to think if I did read something where a fun little tidbit is that each of the children have, or actually most of the characters all have a primary color that they're associated with. So like Tamerlane is green.
Yeah.
Roderick is blue.
Leah's like yellow.
Leah's yellow. Victorine is orange, right? So they all have this like theme, and then
I'd say
Verna
is probably red.
Yeah, Prospero's red. Yep. And when Verna's messing with them, she's in the same color, like she's mirroring.
Oh, I did not realize that.
I didn't either. That's very interesting.
Yeah. That's cool.
Lots of little subtle details that like tie things together.
Yep, because she's wearing the green dress.
Yep.
With Tamerlane. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So is it all the colors of the rainbow? No, because.
Well, that was a side tangent because I wonder, do each of the children? Because I think there's 7 of them.
Yeah.
6 of them. Do they all have like a vice, and is it like loosely related to like the 7 deadly sins? So like Tamerlane, vanity, right? Prospero, some sort of like sexual gluttony, right? And then obviously Leo's like drugs, and like maybe that one's gluttony, like consumption.
Well, he only had
And-
6 kids, though.
Yeah,
But-
there were 6 kids.
Well, he was
Okay.
supposed to have 7 because I know at the one point, Verna, whenever Tamerlane's smashing the mirrors, Verna says something about like you killed your sister in the womb or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was a twin, and
Yeah.
devoured her. And then she like told her that maybe I'm just like your dead
maybe I'm your
sister,
twin,
like
your sister stuck in your head.
tentacles on your brain or something. I was like, what is happening?
So crazy. So
Insane
what would
detail.
Victorine's thing be?
Well,
I don't know if it was like
obviously, if this was Captain Planet, she would be Heart.
I don't know if hers is like some sort of horrible ambition. Something.
See, I don't know, 'cause
But
I thought-
not that
I
they
thought-
do, but they all did have like a nice little
They-
theme. With
They all did. They all struggled with something.
I don't know, because to me, kind of, Tamerlane might be like a pride because she wanted to do something that was like the complete opposite of what her dad's company was, and she put all of her effort into that gold bug.
Yeah.
Goldbug, terrible name. No
I
one
don't know.
told her.
I've seen some terrible crates arrive at my house for like the keto stuff, like Crave and Keto Crate, but there's both with K's, and I'm like, man, we're 1K away from having a really bad crate show up at our house.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep. All right.
I've seen some pretty bad subscription services, so it is possible.
Yeah. So after
Plus,
Tamerlane,
I think Goldbug is a Poe book.
that would make sense.
Don't quote me on that.
Because then also at the end, like Verna lays an item on all of their graves.
Yeah.
Not that correlates to like 7 deadly sins or anything, but they all have like a trinket that was their undoing.
What, Frederick got a bag of cocaine. Wasn't that what she put on his? And I was like,
Yeah.
that's not going to last. I mean,
No.
that's going to be gone real quick.
I was like, yeah, there's like some very meaningful objects, and then he just gets like a bag of cocaine. Like, here,
Is that-
dude, you suck so bad. This is what undid you.
Well, to be fair, that's what undoes a lot of people.
Because you would think at first it would have been Leo's, but he got the collar.
It was
It would have been cool if there was like a pair of pliers or like some teeth that she put on his
oh god,
tombstone.
Yeah, the pair of pliers to me would have made more sense.
Yeah.
yeah. So
'cause
basically,
what she did was she switched. She kind of put him in like a trance when he was on the phone. I guess
Yeah.
because his wife survived the acid, and he brought her home and was just like torturing her
Terrible to her.
for leaving the
giving her,
family and
a paralyzing drug or something.
Yeah.
yeah, and he accidentally put the paralyzing drug in the cocaine, and then snorted the paralyzing drug.
Yep. That death
Yeah.
was brutal.
And I'll tell you what, that episode was called The Pit and the Pendulum, and as soon as I saw that episode, I just knew how he was dying.
I didn't.
And
Yeah.
well, I think it was the episode before, or maybe that episode, whenever the granddaughter is watching movies with her, and she's like, "Do you want to watch another movie, or do you want to watch a show?"
Yeah.
The movie they were watching was actually like a film depicting a man being sawed in half,
Oh.
That's
like
funny.
a Saw movie.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, 'cause
I knew he was gonna when I saw it was The Pit and the Pendulum. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like he's getting sawed in half here.
Yeah,
And
because
they,
Arthur gives him the phone, and that kind of sets him off on this whole like goose chase of like, she was at this party, she was cheating with him on brother, so he like loses his mind, goes to Leo, asks for drugs, gets a bag of coke. Obviously, I think he's gotten refills because I don't think that one bag would have lasted him this
No.
whole story. But so then he brings her back home to just essentially like torture her because he starts just having this monologue with her, even in front of his daughter, about like, like if she's talking, she's lying, and like
Yeah, and
all
if,
kinds of really like crazy stuff.
if you have a bowling alley in your house, you deserve to die.
Oh man.
Though at one time I considered getting some bowling boards and putting them over in the corner where the Wii is for Wii bowling.
That'd be cool.
Because I thought that would be really cool.
You say that, but what if Mike has a bowling alley in his mansion in Miami?
He probably does.
Damn.
I'll
Bye,
miss you.
Mike. Miss you. Joe's Verna over here just granting out.
I'm all fine with a putting green in your yard, but a bowling alley in the house.
As soon as you put an alley in your house, you're dead.
Yeah.
Toast.
You're dead.
But yeah, it was super sad and brutal to see him pull out her teeth.
Because I don't think
he's not a good dentist. But she said, if you wouldn't have chosen this life, you were going to be a great dentist.
Yeah,
is what Verna told him, and I was like, oh man, that's messed up.
It is messed up. Out of all of them, I don't think he was the worst kid until he started taking the drugs. Yeah. Until all that stuff started happening. He was kind of a pushover, or just like the weakest of them.
He was just did what Daddy said all the time. It was just a good boy.
So like, I don't know.
He was going to die, but
right.
It was the way they self-destructed that like really made it easy for her to just be like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much everything that was placed on their gravestones is what killed them.
Yeah.
So
that makes more sense, yeah.
Because she told him, she's like, your death wasn't supposed to be this bad. She's like, but now you're gonna pay.
Right.
You were a good boy. Now you're a dead boy.
Now you're a dead boy.
Man, yeah, she had it rough. But according to Verna, she actually recovers and goes and starts a huge foundation and saves millions of people.
Right.
So so we know what happened to her. I'm wondering what happened to Bilt, the bodybuilder.
Oh yeah. Well, there's all of the significant others, really.
Yeah.
Because like even Leo's significant other, like he just kind of went away.
He peaced out.
The bodybuilder guy.
Yeah, that's who I left. Bill.
He left his keys and he just dipped.
I need more Bill.
Arthur, we need more on all the characters that are still left alive.
That's the spinoff I need. Fanfic. I'll tell you what, one thing about a series like this is like over the next month, there's going to be so many good fan theories coming out, and I'm going to soak all of those up.
I can see that. Because he's not going to make another season. It's just, this is it.
Yep.
Yeah, this is it.
And they cut it perfectly. It's done. I was going to say something.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Well, I was going to talk about oh yes, I remember now. I think it was episode 7 when Roderick is in the basement and Madeline, is encouraging him to kill himself with the drugs and the
These are the 80s. If you take them really quick and all at once, they'll be okay.
So he's like dying or almost
he has dementia
dead.
too. He has that weird dementia thing going on.
Yes. And then I don't remember exactly. I don't know because obviously Verna shows up, right?
And she's like, I don't accept your resignation.
Yeah, not this way or whatever. And then he throws up. I don't know if he throws up before. I think he throws up before, and then she says, yeah, I don't accept your resignation.
Yeah.
And then the scene or the episode ends. I'm like, oh man, it's about to get nasty.
You can't just go dying now.
Nah. And well, and when him and August are in the house talking, and then August keeps hearing things. He's like, who is that? Oh, it's Madeline.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're not gonna go
Dude.
check it out. You're just gonna sit and have this conversation.
I was thinking that the whole series. I'm like, this cop, this detective, like he's got a pair on him because there is no way. Maybe chilling with just old Roddy there. Sure. Listening to him talk. But a constant like knocking in the basement and like just like fumbling around, which clearly more and more sounded like, and as we knew by episode 8, was like a body, a person like trying to like move.
Yeah, move blindly around.
Well, and I think in, Roderick's mind, after all this, he's been seeing so much stuff. He's like, yeah, it's probably just Madeline. Yeah.
And now I'm hearing stuff. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. So the way, Madeline at the end, there's a little slight corn when like she went to go choke him. Like that wasn't like perfectly executed, but it was acceptable.
Right.
Before the house came tumbling down. But
well,
honestly,
she had gems in her eyes.
Yeah.
The sapphires.
Sapphires, yeah. Which they kind of foreshadowed that when Roderick was in his office and he was talking about the sapphires and he had blood all over him. But I think that was a mercy kill as far as like what she tried to do to him. He did the same thing to her, but she didn't know about it. And she was pissed. I mean, rightfully so.
Well, either that or she was resurrected like their mother was in the very first episode.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Well, it's just like what they use.
Like, I mean, Roderick said that makes sense. He's like, oh yeah, like her mother, like just back from the dead, finished the deed.
I was thinking that maybe it was the same stuff that they gave Rufus, which is funny. I wonder if what they gave him was roofies.
I think she gave him like cyanide or something.
Okay.
Because I think she said that he was going to.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, you'll have enough oxygen for this long, but you won't make it till morning anyways.
Right.
And then she put on that brick. You are so small. It's like the last TC saw before the candle went out. It was just the same thing that he told her in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, poor Roofy, man. Getting brick and mortared in there.
No, that guy was a tool.
So weird though. Like, if she could have just easily given him poison and like pushed him off a roof or something. Like, I don't know if I could take the time to actually like brick somebody in somewhere, because I would be like, so like somebody's gonna come and get me. Like, I would be like neurotic.
Well, this chick is driven by something, and she was gonna get what was hers, so she didn't care. She's more ruthless than Rufus was.
Just so weird. That's creepy.
That's a good laugh.
Perfectly timed.
That's what Rufus started doing when the last brick went in. Dude, that's a funny YouTube video.
Dude, that's what I hear at night.
Oh, I'm sorry. But no, I feel like I don't know if I could ever kill somebody like that. If I had a clean chance, then they took the time to like bear, like, that's hatred right there. You know what I mean? Like, and then he just sits there and stares at that wall, and like I'm like, what's behind that wall? Something's behind that wall. And I was really glad that we got to find out, because that was like one like haunting question.
Yeah, so I was like, what significance does this basement of the building have to do with anything?
Because he's down there often.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just sits there and stares at it.
Just hanging out with his boy.
Yeah.
the former CEO and the present CEO, both killed by a zombie chick that they're related to.
That's fair.
That's fair.
But no, that about covers it. And then our favorite character, the Pim Reaper, he has a chance to not get arrested or get arrested, and he's like, I'm not making any deals with you. He's like, I don't have anything that you could actually take. He's like, I have no collateral, so I'm not making a deal. Probably the smartest character in the entire series.
Yeah.
The other cool, the tiebacks to like previous episodes is what just like continuously was just awesome all the time. And like the fact that Camille, who dies in like the second episode, she's like the second death or third. She's like, Verna's like, Camille has a file on you. It doesn't really scratch the surface, but it's enough to give you 20 years and that they're going to find it. And that's what does him in, right? Because everything else is pretty buttoned up. But she's like, Camille, she was good at what she did. She has enough on your file. I'm like, whoa, that's right. Camille was like the nosy person.
Yeah. She had dirt on everyone.
I really thought she was the informant. Which he did go and say that there was no informant. It was just a ploy to try to tear them all apart.
That's right. Yeah.
I thought she was. Like, me and the wife were talking about it. My wife really enjoyed this series.
Good.
I'll tell you, we watched the first episode together. She fell asleep after the first episode. She watched the 7th and 8th episode with me and said, holy cow, this is a really good season. This was a really good show.
I mean,
I guess that's all you really need.
She's not wrong.
She did not watch any of the deaths except for Froderick.
Froderick, yeah.
Is the only death that she really saw of the kids, and said she really enjoyed this.
If only she made it to the end of episode 1, that would work really well, because episode 1 basically picks up again in episode 7.
Well, she made it to the end of 1. She fell asleep before.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Then yeah, so like she saw the whole like outside of the church faint scene, and then that picks back up in episodes. Right, so like 3 episode series done. We don't really need to worry about how the other kids died. Semantics.
Which is really messed up that somebody could just watch the beginning and the end and find this a good show.
That's kind of good. Right?
I'm like, so what you're saying is you could have just, she's like, if this was just a movie like that, she's like, I would have watched that.
We need a super edit. Get on it, Dad.
Yeah,
I could probably make that happen.
Make it a movie.
Or just like all the moments that Roderick and August are together.
Yeah, that's all she needed. Yeah. That's all she needed. It was funny. I just thought that was hilarious. She's like,
that's a great point.
That was really, she's like, I know I missed a couple episodes, but that was really good. I was like, you missed like all the episodes. Like you missed everybody dying.
More than half of the season.
If anyone wants to watch the abridged version,
just watch it.
We got you covered.
You watch episodes 1, 7, and 8, and you're good.
You're golden.
Because I mean, you see the bar scene, and then you see the rest of the bar scene in 7 or 8. I'm not sure which one.
We have 7.
And you know that everybody died. You don't have to know why
or how.
Yeah.
I think if I rewatch this show, that's how I'm gonna watch it.
Just watch 1, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
I don't know. She watched 1, 7, and 8 and said she really liked it, and I was like, "How's that even possible?" But she liked it, and now she's up there. I think I still hear her up there. I think she's watching the Midnight Mass now, or not Midnight Mass, Midnight Club.
Yeah,
Midnight Club. That one's cool. That one is cool.
Which I don't know why. I never watched Midnight Club. I think I associated Midnight Club and Midnight Mass being the same thing in my head.
Nope.
Because it has the word midnight in it.
Right.
I mean, if it was the Midnight Society, I'd probably watch it.
That's his Midnight series that is 2, and this is the House series of 3. The other bits that are really kind of brutal in the fact that they tie back to just probably like real life quite a bit is everything Verna says about like they just stop making movies and TV for 1 year, we could probably fix all the problems.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's sad. I feel bad. I'm even watching this right now.
Yeah. That's 100% true though. Like,
they touched on the opiate epidemic. That's here to stay. Drug companies started it, and it's just not going to go anywhere.
No, that's not going anywhere.
Which, yeah, I do like, even the way they're trying to get Juno off of the pill. I can't remember what's the name of the pill that he has. The name of the pill that he sells. Ligadone.
Ligadone.
I mean, that's pretty much just methadone, because they tell her when they're trying to get her off of it to just reduce for so many weeks.
10% for 10% a month
for 3 years.
Yeah, that's how they get people that are addicted to methadone off of methadone. So pretty much it's the same thing.
Yep.
And I mean, it's all just corporate ran. And she knows that. And that's what she says. She's like, you could solve all the world's problems if people would just spend their money on trying to solve the world's problems.
Right.
I don't have money, so I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not even getting paid to be on the podcast tonight, guys.
Paid in our affection.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's all people need, and that's the moral of this story. What was the other little bit in there? Oh, when he's like, it's not addictive, and then he lists all the side effects.
Yeah, it's not addictive.
Which you're like,
stop taking it. There's 30 things that are going to happen to you.
And it's gonna be miserable.
And all those things also happen to be signs of withdrawal.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, when you withdraw from something, it means it was addictive. So, yeah. Not addictive, but all this might happen. Damn. At least it's not addictive.
But I felt bad for that Juno, because those kids just treated her like crap. I mean, because they were pretty much the same age as she was pretty much the same age as some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just want to fit in. I thought that having a big family would make me feel like I was part of something, and everybody just treated her like crap. She got hit in the face with a microphone stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just here to support you. Wham.
Yeah, and that was a cool little play on the fact that, like, some people can take a lot of certain types of substances and be fine and function and it work. So, like, he kept saying how, like, she just soaks it up like water.
Right?
Yeah,
and it actually helped her.
It actually helped her. She's a little miracle child, and that's true. But then there are many, many, many other people that probably take 1% of what she takes, and their life is ruined.
Yeah, because she was like on the second highest dose that she was saying to the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how you play that off, where it's like, it's not addictive, but your dose is so high, like, oh, duh, it's addictive. It's going to take years to get off of it.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, it's all sad.
But yeah, this was a very good series. I would highly recommend it. Dad, I would recommend.
Go watch Hill House this week.
I'll probably watch Hill House.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm actually going to
talking about this is like making me just gain so much more respect for just the genius that went into this show.
So, speaking of genius, I looked up his next projects.
Okay.
Because I'm very intrigued. So he's got The Life of Chuck.
Chuck.
I guess it's from Stephen King. It's a collection called If It Bleeds. I don't know anything else about it. It has something to do with a haunted house. Yeah.
Now, is that a series or a movie?
Movie.
All right. Because I think he's working with Amazon now. So I do think whatever comes out next is going to be on Amazon.
Tight.
Ooh.
Take that, Netflix.
So
So sad.
they started casting for this. Tom Hiddleston,
I don't know who
Mark
that is.
Hamill, Tom Hiddleston, Loki.
Oh,
That's so
yeah,
funny
yeah.
given our conversation
Before the
podcast. Like you're just joking right now.
Yeah, I was just saying that I hope this is not the last time that we see Mark Hamill. And I swear, if they just bring him back as this style of character, even
like a supporting actor,
him playing this style of character as the detective, even as like I'll do everything to get to the bottom of this detective. Like I would watch that.
No,
Like I said, we would watch a spinoff. It was just the story of his character,
right? We also have the Dark Tower.
Oh, I've heard of that. That
Another
is,
Stephen King book
yeah,
series.
that's a Stephen King. Wait,
which
Flanagan's doing that?
Yeah, which Stephen King's like totally like, yeah, please.
Do my stuff, bro. Do it.
That's going to be
me.
a 5-season adaptation.
And then the other one, The Season of Passage, which I've never heard of, based on Christopher Pike's sci-fi horror novel, The Season of Passage. So that could be interesting. So
Didn't
actually,
he do a Dark Tower.
Yeah,
that had Idris Elba in it. Like, didn't that just come out like a couple years ago?
Is that not it? This is something else.
Yeah, I thought that already came out. I don't know. I didn't see it. I heard it didn't do good.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yep. So what the? This must be an old article. No, it was just last week. Huh? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe it's different.
More Dark Towers?
I guess.
All the Dark Towers.
All the Dark Towers.
I just added a playlist to our YouTube channel called Flaniverse Series Reviews. So
perfect.
Oh, nice.
In that are 4 episodes of ours where we talk about Haunted of Hill House, episode 5, shout out, Midnight Mass, Midnight Club, and tonight's episode. So we just missed Bly Manor.
Rip. So we should do that or
Go
no?
back and do Bly Manor. We can do Bly Manor when you watch that one finally.
Okay.
It's a goodie. Cool.
It's a good one.
Any other feelings on this series other than it was awesome? Go watch it, especially if you like the other Flaniverse things and have an itching for the original Hill House vibes.
I might go back and watch Hill House again.
I want to, like, every year. That's just like a staple for me. Yeah, it's just that impending like dread and doom that these two series just like bring. That's
definitely got that with this.
The impending doom and dread of just death is coming.
Well, the fact that
death is all around you.
You just know that they're all
and there's no way out of it.
Yeah. And Dad, you'll probably know this once you watch Hill House, but you know everything from the beginning. You just don't know until the end. Then you know that you knew the whole time. That's Hill House.
Yeah.
It's all happening in front of you all at once.
It's Sixth Sense vibes. Hill House was for me.
So good.
Like to rewatch it, you're just like, oh my gosh, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
You're like behind the curtain on a rewatch.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Like this one, you're kind of behind the curtain from like the beginning reel that they play that everybody's dying.
Yeah.
You just know.
Everybody died.
And he's like, hey, I'm going to tell you the story of how everybody died.
Yeah, the only thing you don't know is how Roderick dies.
Yeah.
I guess you don't know how any of them die And I guess they all die. It's just the journey to get there is just for whatever reason so satisfying to watch.
Yeah, and he's like, Froderick here to show me a C-section scar. I was like, jeez. And you find out the dude gets sliced in half. You're like, oh my gosh, it's terrible.
What a terrible way to go, man. He's like awake during it, just watching it go back and forth.
Yeah, and it's crazy for them because obviously as soon as they die, they're in the loop. They know why they're dying. They know everything.
Yeah.
So like they are not happy with their dad.
So of course,
being the kids that they are, it's his fault. Yeah. Yep. Do they just like whisper what happened? Like, how does he know what happened? He just knows, or they like tell him the whole thing?
I don't know.
See, and that's what's crazy because August brought that up. Wait a minute, you weren't there. How do you know that this happened? Especially with Tamerlane, because she was alone.
Yep.
Unless Verna tells him. Or no, it's
He says they do
tell. Yeah, they do tell.
Yeah, he's like they tell
right.
me, and they're here to make sure I get all the details right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
It's messed up.
Well, great series.
Great series.
It's all he wrote.
All he wrote.
All he wrote.
Anything else then, boys, gentlemen?
Nah.
Studious. Whoa! Flip the hat up.
Subscribe to the show.
Subscribe. Get a Switch.
Get a Switch. Giving one away.
Anybody who I do say this on my Twitch channel a lot. If somebody from my Twitch community wins the Switch, I am throwing in a game of their choosing for the Switch.
Oh yeah.
So
hey,
there we go.
Great deal.
But no, I told them that nobody can tell them. They have to have seen it or heard it from me.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're watching this show, then they've heard it from me.
Boom.
Yes. Get that community winning.
So I'm hoping we give it away before Switch games in a year are $80 a piece now, because it seems like everything's just getting more expensive every time I look at something.
Yep.
Oh no. The price of that your comment there is going to go up. So
right?
Hurry up and subscribe.
Right?
Subscribe today. Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, Joe. Dad, good seeing you. Dad, you have fun next week with Chad while you guys talk about Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
That's exciting.
I started playing that.
I finally beat
Spider-Man 1, and I'm on Spider-Man 2, and that's what Pat's playing right now.
You going to beat Spider-Man 2?
I'm going to try.
Well,
okay. Well,
I've heard it's the main story is like my grandson. I bought it for him last Sunday, and he's like, I'm like, how are you liking Spider-Man? He's like, I beat it. I was like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I finished it. I bought it for him on Saturday, and when I talked to him after school on Monday, he said he beat it already.
Get to it, Dad.
I'm like, how's that even possible? But he also he's one of those people where he's like, I'm like, give him Skyrim, and he's like, oh yeah, I beat that. I'm like, how? He's like, oh, I don't do any of the side stuff. I just run through it.
Yeah. Which
I'm one of those people where I'm looking for all the trinkets, and if something beeps or I hear something on the scanner and the original Spider-Man game, if I see a crime, I'm like, I got to stop this. Where he's like, no, they're good. I have a main story marker, and that's where I'm going.
That's my nephew. When he plays Mario, he skips everything. He just goes to the end of the level.
He's also really stupid good at like the combat on those style games.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, yeah. Do a Spider-Man review with that kid, because he tells me so much stuff about it. Like, he's giving me a full review of how he feels about it.
Basically put him on there with Chad, and then Dad, you just moderate and let those two just foam at the mouth.
He's got his opinions. I'll let you know him later. We're not going to turn this into a Spider-Man.
That's next week. That's next week. Tune in.
Because I won't talk bad about a game if somebody's not here to defend themselves.
Yeah,
Mm.
but we do that all the time. R.I.P. Star Citizen. No, wrong. Was that
Starfield.
Starfield? Star Citizen is a different game. That's never coming
now
out.
that I have a camera on me,
Defend
I
it.
superly enjoyed Starfield. It was really good. The new
Very
game
past
Plus
tensey.
is really good. Once
Chad
I get
is like,
through Mario RPG, I definitely plan on jumping back on it. When DLC comes out, I'm definitely gonna get it. I've superly enjoyed it, and I guess it's just play the games you like, and if you like them, good on you. If you don't like it, don't play them.
very wise
Nah.
words.
Been a public special. Wait, how's it go? Public service announcement.
Public service announcement.
From Joe Cross.
That's right.
Yeah. And
Tune
then,
in.
play games.
Play games.
Play games.
Do play Sea of Stars though. If you have Game Pass,
Oh, yeah.
get Sea of Stars. That game is so good. You'll really enjoy it.
As much as this podcast?
Probably more.
Dang.
Wow.
With that
Yeah.
said, peace out.
Peace out.
Did I peace?
Bonus minutes.
He left.
Nice bucket hat.
I
What
knew
is
he was
that?
going to
Oh
be
my
back with
goodness.
that mask. Oh my
So
god.
creepy.
I was so ready for it. It still
Don't
got me.
do it.
Oh,
That
dude,
is so
come on
disturbing.
now.
Just